All right, welcome back, everyone. We're at game 2 between mouz and complexity. This is the Brawl Grand Finals. We are tied at 1 apiece in this best of 5. In last game, we just saw mouz come out on top with their Slardar and Broodmother carry over complexity's Morphling, and they won pretty convincingly there in the end. Unfortunately for complexity, they had a game that they're not going to be very proud of. They're going to have to obviously make some adjustments as far as play goes and see if they can come back for game 2. But again, let's go ahead and thank the sponsors. Without you guys, this would not be possible. The prize pool, again, first place is going to be $4,000 plus Steel Series hardware. Second place, $1,500. So that's what these two teams are fighting for. Pretty big difference there, honestly, between first and second place in the prize pools. So again, thanks to Twitch TV, TeamSpeak, and Steel Series. And yeah, that's gonna be. We got some bands coming out here, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like we already got the Darkseer and Shadow Shaman again being banned by mouz, so they're on top of that. Complexity, however, not banning the Tighter or the Tiny yet, so we might see that combo being picked up by mouz. We'll have to see. But Invoker and Furion, and now the Windrunner being banned, and that's the thing about that additional ban is a lot of times we see heroes like a Darkseer and Windrunner and Chen being banned now, and Chen being first pick now. Chen is also a very popular ban in the American scene, and mouz actually picking him up as first pick.
Yeah, and that's scary for complexity. It's scary for any team going up against a Chen, obviously. So you can expect you're gonna definitely expect CM and or Venomancer to be taken by complexity once again, as they love that against jungle heroes. Great against obviously slowing. AoE slow is obviously great against those junglers that gank. But again, we see the Darkseer ban, the Shadow Shaman ban, and the Windrunner ban actually from mouz. 3 very, very good bans against complexity specifically. Yeah, or at least yeah. If you look on the back in the first game, it was really, really effective. The Windrunner actually would have been probably more useful than what turned out to be their Furion on Hannah, because Hannah stayed in that lane too long.
Radiant team.
1 second, I can hear my voice. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see, man, double soul coming out from complexity. Venomancer being picked up. Veno, we've just been seeing a lot of play recently. Veno and Vengeful Spirit are the 2 supports that have been picked up. 1, 2, or 2, 3. Quite a lot. And there it is. Beastmaster and Vengeful Spirit being picked up by mouz. So again, really heavy gank strategy. And really, Beastmaster, he had some good plays. In that fight, but really he didn't have the effect that you would typically see from a Beastmaster. I just didn't feel, watching that game, I didn't feel that Beastmaster was really this great force in the mid game. It just really came down to Slardar and Broodmother, and I don't know, maybe they'll switch up how they run with their Beastmaster this time, or maybe they'll have a little bit more effectiveness in the mid game. I mean, mouz didn't really hit their mid game ganks like they would want to with their lineup. It still worked out in the end with a very, very late game with Slardar Broodmother. But in the mid game, complexity was doing a very good job moving, a lot of really good teleports. At any attempted ganks by mouz, complexity was right there, ready to counter it. If somebody died, complexity was gonna get a counter kill pretty much every single time. And so that's what we have to do against a Beastmaster, and it shuts down Beastmaster quite a bit, as we saw. And so I don't know, maybe they'll run a little bit more heavier gank style this time by mouz. I mean, they already have the Chen and Vengeful Spirit, so they already have their support pushing and really great heroes to pick off. A Clockwork again being picked up by complexity.
Yeah, unwilling to submit, I guess. But honestly, Clockwork is good. He just had maybe you know, it was either Europe or US East server. I'm not sure. Either way, he's not from US East either way. But I mean, it's not an excuse by any means, because there was different elements to landing that ult that came into play with Clockwork last game. But hopefully we'll see a more effective Clockwork game this time around. Either way, I do actually like the Broodmother first pick. Simply because look at all the bans, obviously all the long, and the Miranda ban now as well. There's literally nothing left. I mean, unless you only get like a Weaver, or unless you're gonna do what you should have done last game if you're complexity and just give up the long lane. That's what they should have done. They should have gone in jungle, but now they don't even have that option because Furion is banned. But literally, there's like no long lanes left. Windrunner gone, Darkseer banned, Furion isn't really that great of a long lane, obviously, as we saw, and then Mirana is banned now as well. So that's going to be the next pickup we're going to need to see here from mouz, what they're going to do with that long lane. They obviously have their mid, they obviously have their jungle, and they obviously have VS. VS is honestly huge, and I don't know, we'll see. I really think that they are in the right to put so much emphasis on VS. VS is just so great, especially when you consider how Complexity has this affinity towards Clockwork. VS becomes even more useful, and they're going to have to contend with that all game, the VS swap, and we're really going to need to see. Honestly, we're really going to need to see some very noticeable adaptation in play here from Complexity if they're going to want to win this, because so far it's not looking very good. I mean, I'm specifically talking about the dynamic of Clockwork here. When you relate it to VS, Clockwork did not have the biggest early game effect or even mid game effect last game, and it's something that Clockwork needs to have. I mean, you don't get it otherwise. It's something that just has to happen. So we'll see if they can do that. The last ban now is coming out. Slardar actually gets banned.
Reserve time.
Which is kind of an interesting ban considering you're going against a Broodmother. It would have been semi-nice to pick that up on their side, but and then Quap, obviously. Okay, look at that. So obviously the very last I could even possibly think of long laner in the form of Quap is banned. So that's the story now, is to see what mouz is going to do with that long lane.
Yeah, mouz clearly has a plan here, like you said, banning out the Slardar. First of all, taking away the jungle, any potential jungle with Enchantress versus a Chen, a really smart play. Banning that out in the 4-5, but also banning the Slardar, taking away that opportunity for the Broodmother Slardar action, which we saw from mouz last game. So their Complexity is not going to be able to run that against them. It was really, really powerful in the late game, the amount of single target damage, both of them being very speedy melee units, and on top of that, both of them being able to apply some sort of stun or slow, and just the massive amount of physical damage was really what won out the fight. I mean, Geo was not able to put up enough damage to be able to stop them whatsoever. So taking that away, and clearly you're right, Slardar could fit into their picks, especially with a Vengeful Spirit. Stacking minus armor is very common, but them banning him, they do have the first pick too. They could have picked him up right now, but clearly they have some sort of plan for their 4-5. They're not going to be running with Slardar. I don't know what we're going to see here.
Yeah.
But also, I like the Queen of Pain ban being picked up. Clearly, they know mouz, and they picked up Queen of Pain a couple times and really done some really great work. Basically pushing with Queen of Pain, and I believe they had Furion, Nature's Prophet, and Queen of Pain. They basically pushed the side lanes very, very heavily. There's the Tidehunter pickup, so I wonder if we're going to see the farming Tidehunter like last time. That's what mouz likes to run quite a lot. And then we just need some sort of suicide solo left. And really, what is there left in the pool? I mean, Mirana and Queen of Pain both being banned. There isn't a whole lot. I mean, they could run like the Sand King, like they like to run quite a bit. It just feels iffy. I mean, Sand King with a Tidehunter, you can do work. You just don't have like the tiny like they like to run to set up the Tidehunter Ravages.
What you could do, and what they are looking pretty good to do, is honestly just match up somebody against Brood, since Brood's going to probably be alone, obviously, and then maybe just try and go for a try, because that's probably what they're going to have to do. So what you could do in this case, if you're mouz, is just get somebody who isn't traditionally that long lane, and just get somebody like maybe Sand King. You can't really get Sand King now. Sand King doesn't really work now, but somebody like Sand King who can go against a Brood and just throw him against Brood, and then you throw your tri lane against their tri lane, or their dual lane against their dual lane, and go around it that way. But we'll have to see though. So the thing is now though, is that they don't have, obviously mouz does not have that long lane yet. Although I'm not going to count out, obviously, Beastmaster. Beastmaster has gone against, and it's going to actually be Bounty Hunter, which is a good pickup, obviously, with that track on Broodmother as well. And I can't believe we forgot about it. Obviously, a decent long lane as well, considering with that invis.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to be stacking minus armor as well, so they're just going to be able to cut through. Clockwork's a very tanky hero, but even him, he's going to be just absolutely sliced through. And so now we're waiting on the final pickup by Complexity. We're just waiting for some sort of, I don't know who's left. They can pick up like a Dragonite here and go for some heavy push. They already have a Broodmother in conjunction with Jakiro and Venomancer. So they do have those two heroes. Both heroes, all three of them, very good at pushing. The two supports are very strong. The wards just being able to secure pretty much a tower advantage, a mobile tower advantage. Later on.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they could go and all out and pretty much have Clockwork being able to dive towers, picking off heroes what they want, and then Jakiro being able to set up obviously all his, and Morphling again. They're gonna go for the Morphling, and they must be going for a much more mid-game oriented Morphling this time. They're not gonna try and push out to the late game, I think, because well actually never mind. They got Bounty Hunter on the other side. So they're going to have to go for I don't know, taking early towers, taking those tier 1 towers away, getting that farm, and then just being able to survive the mid game as long as humanly possible. And then in the end, with Broodmother and Morphling, they're going to be able to win out the late game against just a Bounty Hunter, pretty much.
Well, the team fight obviously is going to be in the favor here of mouz. I mean, the combination you have with Tidehunter, and then Beastmaster, and then you got a number of stuns from Chen, and then obviously from VS. Pair that with the burst damage of Bounty Hunter. That's a scary team fight. I mean, that's essentially absolutely someone going to go down with coordinated effort. Somebody going to go down, going to be a 4v5, if not even worse. So that is something you got to look out for. The team fight is simply better for mouz. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that would be the case if VS wasn't in that scenario, because. And this is a problem, I think, that, I don't know, maybe they just haven't come across enough Complexity, is that VS is just really good against what they're trying to do. And obviously, Jakiro and, like I said, Jakiro and that Clockwork, that combination, it gets thrown up. It gets thrown for a loop, basically, with that swap. I mean, Fluff, unfortunately, he did not have the effectiveness that a support hero should have, or that a Jakiro, I should say, should have, because Jakiro is unique to support heroes in the fact that Jakiros can actually farm. They can actually get decent items, and they can actually have an effect in that sense. But his ult, his macro pyre, did not. There was no massive macro pyre last game that I can remember, and that's something that should definitely happen, especially when you pair it with a Clockwork, and it's obviously really hard to do when you're up against a VS. So I almost feel as if they should not have gone Veno so early, but then again, like, if you don't go Veno, it's almost guaranteed that the other team's going to get it. But then again, on the same note, then that means that the other team is probably not going to get VS, although actually worst case scenario is they do actually get Veno and VS in the same pickup, so that would be pretty much terrible. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is I feel like VS would be great on Complexity's lineup, especially because then you don't have to contend with the swap messing up the works. In fact, you can use the swap and maybe swap people inside a cog, because they're going to have some damage here on Swing Sing. You swap people inside of a cog to make it even more effective. But anyways, the lames have come out. We've got DD on Bounty Hunter down bottom, making it very easy for him. So Hannah is going to be solo against bottom, and they're obviously going to have Bamboo solo top. Yeah, they're going to have Bamboo solo top.
Yeah, pretty much it's kind of common recently is what happened is basically you take the Beastmaster and you run him out lane really big early and you axe down those trees. If you see those trees are completely taken away. And so he has vision. He's not going to be able to, there's not going to be any point in time where he's all of a sudden a support hero comes from behind and he takes a whole bunch of damage. He's just going to be able to see when the support heroes come to gank him very easily, and he's just going to be able to walk away every single time. With so no real fear of dying to any sort of ganks. He's not going to be able to get any farm, pretty much.
Well, they're going to force Hannah back. They already have the wards out. The Chen creep with that is coming shortly. Will it land? Well, the range on that is pretty long, and it is going to land, but not going to be enough. But unfortunately for them, for Hannah, there already are 2 wards out, 1 sentry and 1 observer ward, and that's going to make it a little bit more dangerous for him. And already, I would almost venture to say that this has been a harder game for Broodmother this game than it was for a while last game. The Broodmother had a pretty easy down bottom, it seemed like, last game. But Hannah obviously sitting on that ward. He's going to go and try and trade some hits here. Stun is available. And the Chen never too far away. Dement on that Chen never too far away to try and chain some disables and maybe potentially get a kill there on Hannah, especially with that Shuriken on Trixie. Should be pretty simple, but we're gonna have the 2-minute rune be taken up top. Ice Mike has that bottle. Invisibility is taken, and there's no ward up top.
Invisibility.
So he's gonna go ahead and pop it. Missing was called, obviously. He's not gonna leave that tower, it seems this.
Yeah, just it feels really unfortunate for mouz, because they're not going to be able to shut down a Broodmother as well as you're able to shut down a Beastmaster. I mean, right now they're able to devote 1.5 heroes pretty much. Chen is able to do some jungling, but occasionally he's going to come into lane. They're not going to be able to shut down Hannah as well as Beastmaster's getting shut down. Sexy Bamboo has half a level on him. He has 98 experience. Meanwhile, Hannah is level 3. He might actually go down here. He's trying to get away. If he can bait out a bad counterboard, he'll be fine. But he's going to get caught. Wow. Rexy's doing a really great job saving his counter for as long as possible. Unfortunately, Hannah, not knowing exactly where the other sentry was, runs a little bit too close to it and ends up getting caught. So they didn't even have to throw down their second ward.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in middle, Sing Sing has taken some heavy damage. TC, whenever he gets a little bit too close, Sing Sing gets a little bit too close, he just pops that battery assault, and in conjunction with the slows coming out from Venomancer, it's very hard for Sing Sing to not take just massive amounts of damage. But he is doing what he can. He's maxing out Anchor Smash, so he just runs forward, Anchor Smashes when he can, and from there he's going to be able to pick up an early Ravage, which is something which a lot of teams just aren't ready to deal with. A lot of times we see Tidehunter in a support role, but more often, especially on mouz, we see him in this farming role where he's farming in a dual lane or he's farming middle. And so he picks up that early Ravage, and a lot of teams aren't ready for it. It's just not the norm, and it just so much damage, so much team fight damage. It just absolutely easily wins team fights, solo by itself. You don't need a whole lot of follow up. So I wonder how Complexity is going to be able to deal with it. Sing Sing picking up a really fast Ravage, and on top of that Anchor Smash doing so much damage. They really have to be ready for it and have to have really good spacing.
Yeah, the advantage that Complexity is going to have to make for themselves is going to have to happen shorter. It's going to have to happen sooner than later. It's going to need to happen in early game. Pretty much when TC hits level 6 and level 7 especially, he's going to need to turn on the ganks and just make it happen. Otherwise, like you said, that Tidal is going to come out and is just going to wreak havoc in mid game, because there's not going to be the items to mitigate it yet. There's just simply, it's just going to wreak havoc. It's going to be your typical Tide, and that is a massive Tide. Yeah, and they need to do everything they can before that happens. Before the mid game team fights happen, Complexity needs to try and build a lead with the heroes that they have. Geo is obviously late game, and Geo's going to have a much easier time this game, I feel, than he is last game, because he's not against such good carries, especially such carries that kind of get their momentum before Geo does, because of obviously the minus armor. That's it's broken almost. I mean, it's not broken, but I mean, like, you don't need items to be ultra effective. You just need tankability. Whereas Geo needs items. Geo needs lots of stat items before he can start dealing damage. So he's not going to have to contend with that. It's going to be a little bit easier for him in that regard. But we'll see here. TC now is level 5. Level 6 will be coming upon him shortly. Meanwhile, down bottom, they've kind of left them to themselves. If we compare the farm for those two, it looks like we've got, what is it, 30 and 16 on Trixie compared to just 10 and 1 on Hannah. So obviously now Hannah is just at a severe disadvantage even without lane assistance, as we do see 3 people in mid here from mouz. See if they can do anything. TC does have 1 level in COG, so he should be fine in that regard. Meanwhile, up top, let's compare that as well. We've got Sexy Bamboo, 8 and 2 compared to Geo's, which should be pretty much free farm, 35 and 15. And Fluff is just 1 and 0, obviously not doing anything but keeping Sexy Bamboo back there. For some reason, unable to keep that lane full. So they're gonna, instead of pull it, they're gonna go ahead and do the opposite and try and push as much as they can, since they're already in this unfortunate lane situation. If you're Geo and if you're Fluff, you're gonna want to keep control of that lane as long as possible, and just keep Sexy Bamboo out of experience range, out of farm, obviously. But they're unable to do that, obviously. Here we go again. The second wave now is just falling against that top tower. He's getting a lot of experience that he shouldn't be getting otherwise. He's level 5, and they had a problem with that last game. The seemingly inability to keep that lane control is kind of hurting them.
Yeah, really once Beastmaster is able to hit level 3 and is able to get his boar, it really changes the lane up quite a bit. You can't harass as heavily with your support hero. On top of that, you can get pulls from the jungle much easier and that sort of thing.
Oh, down bottom. Gonna have a dive
really,
here. Actually, Hannah's in danger of
away,
going down. He's tracked, and unfortunately for Bounty Hunter, Shuriken the second was the second cast of it was just unable to be casted. But wow, almost a solo kill, just 1v1 as soon as he hits level 7, which he is, and he throws that track down on Hannah. Now this lane is just like almost unlaneable. Actually, pretty much is unlaneable for Hannah, and that is terrible. That frees up the support heroes for mouz to go and wreak havoc on other lanes. So you can consider bottom lane 1 officially for mouz, as we're going to see TC maybe turn on the ganks now. He's level 6. It's going to be pretty hard to gank that Bounty Hunter unless there's some kind of dust on somebody that I'm not seeing. And there's no dust, so he's going to go ahead and fake to bottom maybe in case there was a ward. There was no ward, and he's going to swoop around to the side, maybe get a kill here on Sing Sing. We'll see. No, they're going to go ahead and actually, there's too much action up top for them to worry about that. See if they can actually grab anybody. The slow is no Rexy. You can see Rexy on just trying to block that. TC going to do some damage to Sing Sing, not going to be a whole lot.
Yeah, just look at the amount of damage that Battery Assault does. It's absolutely insane. Him maxing Battery Assault because he wasn't in any fear of farming. Because the Venomancer was there, he was able to free farm pretty much. He didn't have to try and use Rocket, and he also didn't have to help out the side lanes at all. So maxing out that Battery Assault, he's going to be doing a lot of damage very, very early. So now hooking in, picking up 60 Bambo, he's going to be doing once the Battery Assault is going out. Easily picking up that kill. So a free kill pretty much for DC off of that haste.
Well, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be doing that. They need to rinse and repeat that pretty much over and over and over again. And they really want to do that on mid if they can. Mid is the levels in the farm on obviously Tidehunter is actually pivotal to mouz's success. And Trixie actually being forced back finally. Hannah was forced to pretty much not participate in the lane and just snipe at purple for a while at Trixie and keep Trixie back. Now Trixie's going to pop back up and come back into the lane, and lots of damage being dealt to that bottom tower. So Hannah doing what he can, all things considering. The farm is it's not even close. Now Trixie going to go invis. I don't know if he caught that. Yeah, the spider should have caught that obviously. So Hannah going to go ahead and go back just a little bit, and still we've got Geo up top with Mike and Fluff. And then, yeah, not a whole lot has changed. We do have a TP down bottom in plain vision. So Hannah's obviously just going to be extremely scared. Track lasts for so long that he has nothing to do but just sit at his base tower now for a while, at his tier 3 tower for a little while.
Yeah, that's something about, I'm a little bit surprised that Rexy stayed in lane and soaked up as much experience as he did from Trixie, because once Trixie hits that level 6 and is able to constantly track Hannah's in serious danger, because every single time he uses Soul Ring, he's trading health for mana, and then on top of that, he doesn't have the benefit of just being able to stay safe and invis constantly. So if Trixie is ever able to get any auto attacks with Janata being maxed, he's basically trading way too much health for whatever little farm he can get. So really, it's a really interesting way to counter a Broodmother lane. Not trying to push back Spiderlings, but pretty much dealing with the hero itself, and pretty much making Hannah so scared that he's not going to be able to really come close. He's just going to have to sit back and throw what nukes he can in order to get just a little bit of farm, pretty much.
And we got Geo finishing off his Perseverance. He's going to be safe up top probably because of the pressure that is being applied by his team elsewhere. He can safely farm against that sexy Bambo. But now we do have a dust from mouz. Rexy and Dement have dusted up. They're heading towards mid. We'll see if they can get a pickup here. TC is relatively hard to gank. But if they can... But with swap, actually, it makes it a lot easier. Since you can't just cog as easily as he would be able to. He can get cogged out of it, basically. And it still renders Rexy completely useful, even if he's inside that cog that he just swapped from. So he's got to be careful now. But they do realize that everybody's off the map. They're going to try and apply more damage. Fluff combined with Hannah is actually immense pushing. And that is something that they just simply have over mouz. They have a much better push, much better tower push. Even with Chen. obviously the liquid fire passive from Fluff does a good deal of damage to that tower. So Fluff is gonna go ahead and get tracked. It's not gonna matter though. We'll see if they can do anything again. So unlucky for TC. We'll see if they can get this tower though before. Okay, they do get this tower. Now they're gonna go ahead and back.
Radiant's bottom tower.
But we'll see if they get caught here. mouz Sing Sing level 9. See if we can get a big rabbit drop. He does grab 2. No, he only grabs 1. Now it's just gonna be TC that goes down pace for that. Probably worth it. But now they're gonna most likely get a tower out of it as well.
Yeah, that feels
Geo's
like
up top still. Go ahead.
It wasn't the way they want to execute their strategy. With Sing Sing being middle and being able to farm up, especially maxing Anchor Smash, they can really put a stop to Broodmother pushes very, very easily. And it feels like they shouldn't have lost that tower. If Tidehunter had the teleport, or just moved sooner, they would have been able to defend that tower very easily. There's just too much fear of Ravage, and Anchor Smash would have picked up Spiderlings very, very quickly, and it would have been a lot of farm for Sing Sing. But really, it was just the movement there, and that's got to hurt them a lot. I mean, they need every little bit of early game that they can get. They can't give any extra gold from towers because they've already given up top. And now that bottom tower being lost, that's a lot of gold that Complexity is going to be able to pick up, and that's going to show in the mid game. They're going to be able to pick up those extra items that just might help them live a couple extra seconds to do a little bit more extra damage. And those team fights are huge because if you can get one more kill on Bounty Hunter, that's insane because that track just gives so much gold both to him and to his allies. So actually at top we're going to see a teleport. Geo trying to get out. He's just maxing out his strength as much as possible. Look at it go. He's at 1600 health right now, max, and it's just so hard to kill him. I mean, if you have the mana, it's unless you have some insane amount of nuke coming out and CC, it's just too hard to kill Morphling, and he's just going to be able to push over and over and over again without any real fear, especially if he has a replicate up.
Yeah, Morph is going to have a much easier game this game, especially. There's really no easy Orchid taker, and there's really not a whole lot of there's no Doom he has to contend with. There's no that he has to worry about. He should have a relatively unabated game, and that should be good for Complexity. Obviously, we'll see if that is actually going to be the case. We got mouz Sing Sing and Dement and Trixie and Rexy all gonna go ahead and back because that track is on him and he sees that.
Yeah, that was really manly of IX Mike. I mean, him going out so far into the jungle, even though he was tracked into their jungle, throwing down wards for a little bit of vision, but still, that was really risky of him, going so far out. But I mean, it works because he drew the attention of the team, and you had 4 people rotating to bottom, and now they're just back away. Now Geo is farming, Sexy Bamboo having to teleport away for fear of death. I mean, they're just able now, Hannah to farm the jungle, Geo's able to free farm top, and just the little rotations like that, just a little bit of wasted time is really helpful to Complexity.
Yeah, Geo's been AFK farming all game, literally. He's been fine. There's just slight gold advantage for Complexity of about 2600 gold because of that tower, basically. Of course, those 2 towers, I should say. And there's no towers actually taken from mouz. And now, like I said, that is kind of a weakness. They do, like I said, they do have Chen, but that is definitely not as strong as Jakiro and Spiderlings. That's just much stronger. And we do have Hannah now in the jungle, jungling away. So the gold is slightly in the favor of Complexity. The experience pretty much, what, even? No, even a tiny bit in favor of Radiant. So we're going to have finally a push down bottom from mouz. We'll see if they can actually get this tower, equalize that gold a little bit. The Rocket Flare comes over, does what it can to push them back, and it does just that. So really just not a very impactful game from Dement on this Chen so far. I've noticed he hasn't had all that much. He hasn't really pushed towers. He hasn't had a whole lot of successful ganks. Maybe he's just getting like insanely unlucky with creeps or something. I'm not entirely sure. But actually down bottom we're gonna have a go. This should be extremely dead. Sexy down low. He's not gonna have resistance. All that means comes out. Oh, now Rexy might be in danger. No, they're not actually. The Ravage is available and out, and that's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. And and Trixie's come as well, and the track is out, so the move speed is in full effect. Now Geo's in danger of going down as well. Geo's gonna turn to the right. TC's gonna go ahead and block. He needs to get himself out of there. What's he waiting for? That was kind of interesting. He does get swapped in either way, and he's gonna go down. So for a 2-for-1 exchange in the favor of mouz. Interesting exchange.
Really well done by Trixie. I really like the fact that instead of picking up a Vanguard, which was an option for him. If he felt like he was getting, if he needed that extra health, and they started losing the early game a little bit much, and he was getting ganked a lot, he could have been able to pick up Vanguard. It's a decent item on Bounty Hunter. It gives him a little bit of extra tankiness, but instead it looks like he's going to save that, potentially pick up I'm drawing a blank here, but the splash item. We often see it on Bounty Hunter for the farm potential, but he also picked up Drum, which was really helpful right there. Any single time that they have to teleport in, actually middle, Sing Sing is going to go down here really, really quickly. It doesn't matter that he is... Wow, his buff is actually going to save him quite a bit. TC mixes it out now, and his ultimate is pretty huge, and now he's going to go down in exchange for that. He's just going to cog up and pretty much die. So really well done. That's just the power of a Tide Hunter with that Kraken shell. And basically you have 2 instances guaranteed of basically taking away all of the debuffs that you receive. 600 damage when you have 1300 health. That's 2 instances at least. So yeah, it's just so hard to take down a Tide Hunter. But going back to Bounty Hunter, it looks like he's either gonna be he does actually he's gonna be going to the farming build. That Drum is really nice early on when you have to teleport in. You get these team fights and you give basically your allies, I think, like an extra 90 movement speed. I think is what it is, combined with track, and then on top of that, the Drum. It's something insane, pretty much. Yeah. And then after that, he's gonna be able to pick up BKB, and he's just gonna be unstoppable, and then also helping his team out a whole bunch. Once he picks up that Battle Free, he's going to get the farm he needs, and he's going to be able to pick up the team fight items like BKB. Yeah,
it's going to help him scale quite a bit, definitely. And he's just kind of man-fighting up top with Geo right now. Geo's not going to back down, though. He's going to continue to get that farm, because right now he's pretty much Complexity's only hook. They're not having as much effect. They're not having the success that they need to be having. It's that hook in mid on Sing Sing, as we saw, and that would have been a hook into a cog, and that probably would have been a pretty dead Sing Sing regardless. And instead he misses the hook and he gets swapped, and he dies. So that was pretty bad, obviously, and unfortunate for them. Again, he's got to hit those hooks. It's a must. I mean, it's almost like the exact opposite of his Rasta. I mean, his Rasta is amazing, or his Xiaosham is amazing. Because he can always hit ults even more so than what you should. Like you should. It's not like you're supposed to always get a ward trap, but he seems to somehow do that at times. And instead with Clockwork, he just manages to not be able to hook people. I'm not sure if it is that delay that is the effect or what, but that's a problem. And in mid, what went with him dying could have at least been a trade. He probably was still going to die if you think about it, considering the fact that VS did TP, and he probably would have swapped him into the tower, and he would have got stunned, and he probably would have died, but at least they probably would have gotten a kill on either VS or Tide, and it would have been a 1-for-1 exchange. It would have been worth it, but I mean, he absolutely has got to have a greater effect on this game as Clockwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're going to see a fast pipe being picked up by Sing Sing fairly shortly. So again, Takiro is not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage. Throwing Macro Pyre down just to be able to push back waves pretty much is all it's going to be able to do once that pipe is up. And on top of that, Sing Sing, just the extra tankiness, he's going to be so hard to take down. He's going to be the last person in every single fight pretty much. And because of that, Anchor Smash over and over and over. It's every 6 seconds. He's just going to be able to run along and not really have any fear of dying and just run into these fights and Anchor Smash over and over and over again. And the damage builds up. People don't really expect it. You usually expect from a support Tide Hunter, you see that Gush maxed out, and every single time it's the instant damage plus the minus armor is so powerful. But Anchor Smash is a really powerful spell if you have that tankiness and that longevity. Damage over time on Tide Hunter. He's just going to be able to over and over again do it. Meanwhile, at bottom, Hannah is doing a really great job. He's been farming the jungle left and right whenever he can, very safely. The fact that he has only died once is really well done by Hannah. He's been safely farming every single time, even though they have these heavy ganking heroes. He's just been doing a really great job with his movement, staying safe. Meanwhile, at top, they're going to be able to pick up Trixie here. He's not going to be able to get away anytime soon. 1, 2, 3, there you go. So really great gank by Complexity. That is exactly what they needed. That's going to free up Geo's farm even more. Trixie wasn't able to put a stop to Geo's farm, but there was always that threat of, you know, but what if there's a smoke gank or something? And now that frees up Geo's farm completely. He has no fear. He's going to just be able to push. Meanwhile, middle, they're going to choose mouz. They know they need to trade something, and they're going to try into tower here. They might be able to pick up a kill. They do have Ravage. He's going to pop Ravage, Anchor Smash, Fluff. A couple more hits here, but no one else is following up. mouz Sing trapped by TC. Nice Chen teleport saving Sing just in time. Geo now coming in. They're going to try and pick up a couple of supports now. Sing teleporting right back in. He's going to try and do some work. Try and save the Vengeful Spirit. One or two more hits, but Geo is forced to now back out. It's not worth it. Hannah, nice mech coming out, trying to save him. So it looks like both teams are going to save each other, and everyone's just now. Bounty Hunter is back up, so Complexity, I think they're going to back up here. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to try and push with these Brood? No. Incoming Trixie is just going to be too much. The amount of movement speed he gives to his allies is really too much. They're just going to back up and try and get some more farm on Geo and potentially save bottom tower. If they can get that denied, that'll be pretty big. But Gabor is just doing too much work. Oh, Geo! Oh, he gets it! Great
2 denies.
Picking up the denied bottom tower.
Yeah, and in mid, 2 denies. That's actually pretty huge. Because there's not a lot of gold to go around from pushes on the side of mouz. Those are obviously the first 2 tower kills that they've gotten. The first 2 towers down for Complexity, and they're both denied. So that's good for them. Geo is obviously having a great farm game, and as you were mentioning earlier, so is Hannah. And obviously so is Fluff. I don't know if you mentioned it, but Fluff was able to just survive where he otherwise wouldn't have in mid against the barrage of spells there from Sing on Tide because of that mech. And that mech, and especially pipe as well, is going to be huge this game as opposed to last game. TC is going to get that pipe eventually, and it's absolutely going to be huge for Ravage at least, and not so much for well, and for Bounty Hunter actually. Bounty Hunter, I believe, is spell damage. Yeah, it's magical, so yeah, that'll definitely help Shuriken as well to mitigate the damage of Shuriken as well. So these teamfight items that Complexity are going to be getting from this farm is going to absolutely be more pivotal this game than it was last game. And they're going to be getting those shortly. Mech obviously already taken on, but that's the biggest difference, like I said, between maybe like a CM or even a Veno, is that Fluff on Twin Head is able to farm items relatively quickly, a little bit more fast, a little bit fast-wise. And what we see now in mid is Sing obviously applying pressure in mid, spamming that Anchor Smash. Like I said, what is it, every 6 seconds? 6 seconds. And they're trying to apply pressure. They need some towers. They desperately need some towers. And we might have a bit of a gank here in mid. TC. No, he's not going to choose to go. Look at Rexy. Rexy's positioning has just been spot on. I don't know if he played it last game as well, the VS. But Rexy's always just shadowing somebody playing risky. Sing in this situation would otherwise be out of position up that far across the river, but he's doing everything he can to save those teams, to allow the farming that would otherwise not be going on. Very good play there from VS.
Yeah, we got a couple of item picks up. Trixie now does have his Battle Fury, so that's going to help his farm quite a bit. And something about those denies that Complexity picks up is really farm on Bounty Hunter snowballs very quickly. So if he was able to get those, instead of denies, if they were actually able to get those towers, he would have had Battle Fury a few minutes earlier, and that could translate to a couple more kills. And a couple more kills on Bounty Hunter, like I said earlier, is huge. Trying to pick up Rosh on here, Complexity doing some serious work solely with Spiderlings and wards, pretty much. Hannah once in a while trying to get a couple hits in there, but mouz, they do know, and they're trying to pick off the hero. They do pick off the Clockwork. Great job by Trixie identifying where to pick off the heroes. The rest of Complexity is completely separated from him, so that was a free kill for mouz, and now there's definitely not going to be a Roshan get it picked up anytime soon. Chen Creepsters are in there. They're doing work, so mouz might be able to pick it up here, but it's risky. They do still have a Ravage, so they're definitely safe. They're going to force this fight. Nice, huge Ravage coming out, taking off all 4 heroes, and they're easily Anchor Smash doing so much work. They're going to take that out, and Hannah is trying to pick up a kill on Trixie before he goes down. Can he pick it up? He does! He grabs the kill before he goes down, so at least there is a silver lining to that very dark cloud of all 5 heroes for Complexity going down. On top of that, Roshan is going to be picked up by mouz fairly easily, no problem whatsoever. And it looks like, no? You can pause, no? Alright. Roshan, easily being picked up. TC can't do anything about it.
Has fallen to the Radiant.
Unless he was going to be like super manly. Pipe almost picked up on Clockwork. If he had that in that last team fight, that could have changed things around a little bit. Dodging that little extra more magic damage so people can actually get a giant pipe being written down. Get off certain spells, but instead they just got popped. The Ravage went off, and they just completely died before they could get anything off. And so really, mouz is just kind of dominating right now with that team fight and the Rosh on pickup. They're completely ahead. If we wanted to, Tidehunter could pick up a Peaky right now. He could be that force of initiation. But I'm thinking since he's doing that farming build, I think he's going to go in for a little bit more tankiness. And he's not going to grab that. I think he's just going to try and stay a consistent force in these team fights, and instead of initiating, just basically be a man and just run in there and do work.
Yeah. Again, TC got caught before that fight. Obviously, that would have been much different if TC was alive during that fight, and if there was a successful initiation on his part. That would have been, you know, night and day difference. Obviously, it would have looked nothing the same, obviously. But the fact of it is that now that there is a very sizable gold advantage, about 5K for the Radiant, and the experience looks almost exactly like the gold graph. So, like you said, very sizable lead right now for mouz. Picking up that very one-sided team fight. All right, well the game's not live yet, but all right, we're back. So we're coming back into a smoke gank here from Complexity. They're gonna do what they can, try and catch bottom. See what kind of true sight they have on them. We'd have a dust on our TC. See what they can do. Obviously, a nice job there from Fluff holding on this one. Wow, I think we have enough true sight. That's gonna be a very easy kill there for them, and they're gonna go ahead and turn that into his buyback. There's more than enough for buyback. Actually, 2K. He does have that Battle Fury farming away on that Bounty Hunter. May actually open up some golden minutes. I haven't actually looked at that for a while. Golden minute for him, 420 golden minute on Bounty Hunter. Sing Sing, 365. Obviously farming very well as well. Geo at 361, not doing too bad. Henna at 300, doing good as well. But that's all they did. That's all they really accomplished with that, was just gonna kill down a Bounty Hunter. And then now some farm there on bottom for TC. TC desperately trying to finish that pipe. He will be here soon with one more wave, but not quite enough. Meanwhile, we're gonna have a rotation up top. Who is that?
Oh wow! Look at all the money Ting just picked up from picking up spiders. That is just insane. Good anchor smashes coming out. Not bothering to use the invis to try and pick some hero. Instead, picking up spiderlings like a boss.
Much more important. And look at Lexi just rolling around as a group. And Geo doing what he can to farm. I mean, I guess they're doing what they can. They were actually on the right path up until that Rosh engagement where TC got caught out beforehand. They were on the right path. They were doing what they needed to be doing to win. They were taking that Rosh, but literally that was pretty much the only thing that could have happened to put a stop to their momentum, is somebody getting picked off before the fight. But as it stands now, that pipe should be finished, and the pipe indeed is finished on TC. So we should see a much different team fight here. Obviously, that big, massive ult there from Tidehunter, damage 450 still. How much does that actually mitigate exactly? So only 50 damage of that is going to go through, assuming the best case scenario for TC gets a pipe on pretty much the entire team. But that is pretty much mitigating the damage from the level 16 Tide, which by the way is huge. And the fact that he's level 16 is a very big problem as well for Complexity. So we're going to have them all just pretty much farming together for them with spiders at that. They're going to smoke up, see if they can get a catcher. TC desperately needs to get this hook on Bamboo, and he does get it. Is there a swap in sight? Swap should be coming shortly, and it will be in time. No, it won't be in time. He's not going to swap. Obviously, he doesn't want to risk it. Does a pipe come out? No, the pipe does not come out. The pipe does come out actually, but it didn't mitigate the damage that it needed to. Now Sexy Bamboo fought back actually. He's back in the fight. He gets his ult off as well. Now Trixie's in the mix as well. He's going to get damaged. Swap comes out. He does do what he needs to do to save Trixie, but at what cost? At no cost. He does not go down either. So literally just two people down on the side of Complexity. One person did buy back. That would be Beastmaster. There was a 1-for-2. Nice little juke going on. Was it an Aegis?
Yeah. Yep.
No one bought back. So 2 for none. For mouz, they're gonna go ahead and turn this into a push. Buck's gonna go ahead and get tracked. Nuked. And that's gonna be a tower. So 2 kills and a potential tower, and it's still dropping. Fully is saying.
I mean, really, that just goes to show how powerful Tidehunter can be. I mean, they got the pick off that they needed to, and the Aegis was a big deal. I mean, Beastmaster was able to come up and throw everything that he had. But on top of that, just the amount of teamfight damage that Sing Sing does on that Tidehunter is just insane, and he's so hard to kill. I'm really glad that they did give the Aegis to Sexy Bambo. It obviously paid off because Tidehunter is not going to be dying anytime soon, and really Trixie has just been trying to AFK farm. So I'm really surprised that they didn't give it to Bounty Hunter, but it did pay off very, very well in that team fight. So really well done by mouz. And Sexy Bambo potentially getting caught out here. TC once again. He's going to try and throw... Oh, huge play by Sexy Bambo. What a play. Throwing down the illusion. The question is, can he get out? He's still going to get cocked, so no. He's still going to go down. But he did direct a little bit of extra time by Complexity in order to take away that kill. So it's just so unfortunate when you see good plays like that being made, but it still results in a death. It's kind of like,
Morphling gets a solo mid meanwhile, and he's going to be able to pressure the tower now. Actually, the chain creeps have arrived. Dement does have Force Staff and Mech, and we're going to pause again. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully we've got the stream sorted, and we're going to get this underway once again. And before I forget, actually, I don't think there's anything going on yet. He does morph away. We're going to have a go up top, actually. Hannah in danger of going down. He's going to go down pretty easily here. Just get completely dominated there. 1v1 Trixie versus Hannah. He's going to go down. But before anything else happens... yeah. We've been giving away... Literally, we've given away $200 so far to IRC viewers. So if you are not watching... if you're not in our IRC while you're watching this, just go ahead and go to our... make sure you're watching on our website, which is... like Dota2Replays.org/live, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
yes,
yeah, and there is an embedded IRC with the stream right there, and you guys can go ahead and participate in the IRC competition. I believe those happen pretty much in between these games, which there are going to be a number more of. And we are giving away $100 at a time to a lucky viewer. So we've got some more of those.
we've got over 5,000 viewers right now, and I know there's not 5,000 people in the IRC, and I'm not sure why not. I mean, we're giving away money, cold hard cash, not Dota 2 keys, which you might not want because you don't have any friends. Cash, everybody loves cash.
Cash is good.
Get in there.
Cash is good. Yeah, get in there. All right, so 13-7 right now. 34 minutes in. Again, for those of you who have joined us late, this is game 2 technically, and the series is tied 1 apiece. That doesn't make sense, does it? But that's because Complexity entered the series with a 1-game advantage. mouz won game 1, and that is why it is now tied up 1 apiece. And that is probably going to be a very safe Trixie. Kind of a unsuccessful gank attempt there on Trixie. And this is just back and forth. A lot of farm going on. People unwilling to push in general. We might see a push now since all 4 up top from Complexity on this tier 2 tower up top. But we'll see if it actually doesn't materialize. In the meantime, let's open up the graphs. Goal difference 7.5k in the favor of mouz, and the experience is just off the charts. It's over 1,000 in the favor of mouz, and those levels are really hurting them. We've got level 14 on Rexy. When that level when you hit level 11 on VS, it's pretty much you're pretty much at like where you need to be. But level 16 is just like you don't even need to be nearby. And it's just effortless. But yeah, these levels are really, really going to come into play here in these team fights shortly.
Something I'd like to point out, there's something I'm really surprised. Sing Sing is actually going to pick up a refresher orb. So he's going to have double ravages. I kind of expected him to go something a little bit more tanky and a little bit more immediately effective, something like a Shiva's. But he's going to pick up a refresher. He was able to grab that, and it is now completely up. And so he's now picking that up. And so that's going to be doing some serious work. The question is, mana-wise, he's going to have to be at completely full mana. I mean, the Arcane Boots helps him quite a bit, but he's also blowing Pipe. So you're talking about easily, I'm not even sure if he has enough mana to throw it all. I don't think he does.
We'll do the man. That's going to be...
I mean, you're talking about 650, 950. That by itself, the double refresher, I mean, with Arcane Boots, he'll be able to get off double Ravage. But I don't think he'll be able to get off Pipe or any of his other skills because of that. That's a really interesting play, and I wonder if that's a bit of a mistake. He's gonna have to pick up some extra intelligence as soon as humanly possible, or else that's a lot of damage. As much as double ramage is awesome and everything,
look at him go.
He's got haste. Really good work.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got haste. This would be a good time to get in there. He's gonna go ahead and use it. He only grabs fluff. Let's see if Geo does go ahead and come in. We got the ult that comes out. Now Sing Sing, he goes ahead and pops and pressure. Like you said, does not have enough to go again. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't matter though. We have one down so far, just fluff. Geo trying to do work. Geo not doing a whole bunch. Geo, there we go. Finally, Geo just actually forced to leave the fight basically. Geo not having the effect that he needs to have. Meanwhile, Trixie having massive effect. Mass effect, if you will. And yeah, 3 go down. And they're gonna get potentially a Rax out of this. I mean, wow, like just again, mouz looking really strong. We're gonna have to see if complexity just concedes, and specifically I'm talking about concedes and decides to just pick traditionally or something, because something is not working for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, you would know more than I would, obviously, how much practice they've had with the strategy. But it feels like to me that they haven't really practiced the strategy very much. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like a lot of miscommunication, a lot of bad coordination, and it looks like Geo's gonna be pissed off here. The waveform is down. He's gonna pick off this Hero Ravage again. So there's the second Ravage at least. He does get it off.
Yeah, and it's effective. I mean, taking out Geo is doing what you need to do. Geo is down. Yeah, and this is quickly spiraling out of control. The thing is now, and at least up until like, probably 5 minutes ago, pretty much up until Rosh, up until that Rosh engagement, they were doing fine. Complexity was fine. It was just misplay, really. Same with game 1. It's that simple. It's not. And to answer your question, they are, I believe, at least somewhat practiced with this. They're definitely not pulling this out in the grand finals. I mean, they've definitely practiced with these heroes. It's just play. I know one of the players, his computer died yesterday, so he's not on his own. He's on a different setup. He's on his friend's setup actually, and that might have something to do with it. But the fact of the matter is that it's not just one player that is making misplays for complexity. Basically, it's more than just one. So. You can't just chalk it up to that alone, obviously, and it's great play for mouz as well. They're doing what they've been doing recently, looking very strong, tons of communication and teamwork and coordination, and they don't look to be slowing down here at all. So they're going to be going up top here and getting this tier 3 tower.
Yeah, there has been no throwing from mouz yet.
No.
And mouz is just it's what they're known for. They play so well, and they're like, yes, go. And then all of a sudden they're diving in a fountain or something crazy. So no throwing yet, and they're going to be able to pick up a lot of extra gold, picking up at least a tier 1. But it does look like complexity is ready to fight this. They're not going to try and get extra farm with Lincolns and Manta on Morphling, and now the Orchid being picked up on Hannah. Maybe this is going to be enough. Maybe they're going to be able to pick off a nice hero here and come in from behind, flanking complexity once again. Nice push. Dement saving himself. Very, very well done, pushing himself out. 16 getting a huge ultimate in. Does have to refresh her, but again, not enough mana. And he's going to be able to jump on Hannah. One more hit, he goes down. Now Geo's going to try and get out. He's going to have to waveform away, but 3 heroes are going to go down easily for no pickup. Geo waveform away, but he's not going to be able to get away. The movement speed is just too much, and he's going to go down. And Fluff, that's a complete wipe. mouz wiping complexity, 5 down, and GG being called out.
Yeah, I knew it was GG. It's just it's too one-sided. There's just no damage coming out from Geo. And it's not working for them. They need to make some adjustments here. That means that literally mouz is 1 game away from winning everything. First 2. It is now, the series is now 2-1 in favor of mouz. They just, it's a best of. No, it's not best of 3. It's best of 5. Never mind. I'm getting confused here. Wait, no. If it was a best of 3, they would have won. So yeah, if they win 1 more, then that's it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, never mind. They would have just won if it was a best of 3. So yeah, mouz literally on fire right now, picking very well. And complexity with these unconventional picks, it's just not working out for them right now. And we'll see if they continue that theme next game, and that is going to be that's going to be it. So again, thanks to our sponsors once again, Twitch TV, TeamSpeak, SteelSeries. Thank you very much. For those of you who have not heard, go into our IRC. We're having a competition right now. giving away hundreds of dollars to viewers. And yeah, and we are already going to get back into this game. So maybe a quick break, and we'll be back real fast. Don't go anywhere.